Welcome. Today I'm going to talk about cholesterol from both a Western scientific and food perspective, foods that you can eat that are really going to help benefit and healthy levels of cholesterol. And if you have high cholesterol, help with that. But also from an Eastern medicine or traditional Chinese medicine lens, which is my specialty and my background. And that allows us to get a little more specific about what's contributing to the high cholesterol beyond just food, because a lot of people that come to see me are eating well and doing well and they don't really understand it. So when we look at the patterns that are showing up and how that will manifest in lots of different ways and how it can contribute to cholesterol levels that are out of balance and not necessarily in a healthy way, can be really, really helpful. So we'll start with just cholesterol and the foods, and then I'll get into the Eastern medicine. And first, we need to know cholesterol is important. It's good, obviously. It's part of our body. It has really healthy, important benefits. It's really helpful for cell membranes. It's a precursor for a lot of our vital hormones like estrogen and testosterone, really important that we have healthy levels of those. It aids in the production of vitamin D. It actually protects our sun from and our skin from the sun. So we want a healthy level of cholesterol on our skin. So actually, if we wash our skin with a commercial soap before going out in the sun, we're actually limiting our production of vitamin D, but also putting us at more risk for sunburns and things. Fun fact, I thought. It also has to do with healthy nerve cell and brain function. So really, really important. But the risk of particularly buildup of low density lipoprotein, so cholesterol, it can build up in the arteries, it narrows them, and that's where we get the increased risk of heart attacks and strokes. So obviously, we want to be avoiding that. Beautiful thing is there are so many foods that will help to balance this out and can really help to create healthy cholesterol levels in the body. First one is oats. They contain a soluble fiber that actually binds to cholesterol in the gut and helps to eliminate it. So just one serving a day can increase and reduce low density, the LDL cholesterol from your system. So really great first thing in the morning to have some oats. I'm not a fan of cold oats. I really like the cooked ones. And as we go through, you'll learn more about why I like those cooked foods. But cooking your oats, and you can add some of the other foods in, that can be really helpful. The next food is legumes. So legumes, chickpeas, lentils, beans, find ones that work for you. Not everybody responds well to all beans. They're not all created equal, and our systems are all unique. So I do not do lentils well, but I can do chickpeas and black beans and black-eyed peas really, really well. So find the ones that work for you, but they're really high in soluble fiber and plant protein. So they help to regulate blood sugar, and they contain components that block extra not cortisol, just did a video on cortisol, on cholesterol absorption as well. Fatty fish. So those salmons, mackerels, sardines, those cold water fish are really high in those omega-3 fatty acids, and that's going to lower your triglycerides, and they're going to reduce inflammation and may help raise the good cholesterol, so that HDL cholesterol. And we want good amounts of that as well. Nuts, walnuts, almonds, pistachios, all those contain unsaturated fats and plant sterols and fiber. So they can help support to lowering the LDL and improve your heart health overall. And the seeds as well. So like flax seeds and chia seeds, they have a soluble fiber and a plant-based version of omega-3s that help to reduce that LDL and systemic inflammation as well. Avocados, really, really high in fiber and the healthy fats, and they're going to help basically improve the LDL levels as well. It supports your skin and your heart health. Olive oil, another great one. And barley is a really good one. So it's high in the something called beta glucan, which can lower the total and cholesterol and the LDL. So this is a great one. I just did a whole video on barley, or Job's tears in Chinese medicines would be kind of similar. And you can make a barley water. You can add barley into your soups or stews, or make a salad with it, like a grain salad. So lots of ways that you can incorporate that in. Then there's a high fiber fruits like apples and pears, and they contain pectin and a soluble fiber that actually binds to the cholesterol to help eliminate it. They're also super rich in antioxidants and really good for overall vascular health. So they're really helpful. You can do some plant-based foods like soy-based products. So note with soy, I am not a fan of any of the isolates. I want you to get non-GMO and organic and in its most whole form. So that can be tempeh, which is the fermented soy, tofu, organic soy milk, those ones, edamame, those particular ones, nothing like I'm not a fan of a soy protein powder or any of the soy bars or isolates, as I said, but they can be beneficial in the whole form. And then the superstar from a Chinese medicine standpoint is hawthorn. So this is usually used as a cardiovascular tonic, both in Western herbalism and traditional Chinese medicine. And it helps to reduce the total cholesterol, LDL, and the triglycerides. So it's particularly helpful too for increasing HDL. So the good I keep going to say cortisol today, cholesterol. Here we go. And it's also a powerful antioxidant, and it protects the blood vessels and prevents oxidation of cholesterol. So overall, just a super, super beneficial food. We call it shanza in Chinese medicine. You can actually get these little wafers. They're like a hawthorn candy. You can get them in a lot of Asian supermarkets. You can just snack on those. But my best and favorite way is to make a hawthorn tea. And you can get dried hawthorn berries and just take 1 or 2 teaspoons and put it in a French press or something like that, and then just soak it for 15 to 20 minutes and then enjoy that and sip 1 or 2 cups of that a day. And you can combine it with some of the foods, but that it makes a really fresh sort of cooling tea or like neutral tea in the summer or something nice in the winter. So having a couple of cups of that can be super beneficial. So those are the foods. And then I'm just going to talk a little bit about understanding the Chinese medicine side of things. So even though food can be good, it always has to match the person. So one food that's like magic for one person isn't necessarily going to work for the other person because their constitution, their pattern, the imbalance is different. So it's not a single condition and we just stamp it on everyone. And that's where we can get very specific about healing and really customize things for the person. And this is where we get really great results. So in Chinese medicine, we look at high levels of cholesterol is not it's really a sign or reflection of a deeper imbalance. And it particularly involves a pattern we call phlegm or dampness in the body and a bit of stagnation. So if you think of phlegm, when you have phlegm, if you've ever had a cough or a cold, it can be congesting. It can be this sticky fluid. And that's what we consider to be similar properties to cholesterol when it's in an unhealthy form. And dampness too, it's like when you soak something in water for a long time, it can become very clogging and heavy and blocking energy. So think of like a bog. If things don't move well, it gets stagnant. It builds up. It's not healthy flow of water. So we call it in Chinese medicine, it would be a pattern of turbid phlegm. So I always joke that Chinese medicine, it often sounds like a weather report when we're talking. We talk about hot and cold and dry and damp, but it's really a simple way to understand the body. But we see these ecosystem balance when things are in balance or when they're out of balance, and it's going to show up in multiple ways. And then when we understand that and know what we need to do to balance it, that's where we're empowered and we get lots of health. So there's a few patterns, and I'm just going to walk you through really briefly the different patterns. And if you're someone who has high cholesterol, see if there's 1 or 2 of these that you resonate with, and then you can really customize your lifestyle and your diet for that pattern and to rebalance it. So the first one is what we call liver qi stagnation, or blood stasis. It's like a stuck pattern. So it's like an internal traffic jam. And when the liver, so there's your liver from a Western perspective, but there's a liver system in Chinese medicine that encompasses a lot more than just the physical liver. It shows up in our eyes, shows up in our nails, it shows up in menstrual cycles, it shows up particularly if we're irritable or frustrated. That can be a sign that the liver system is out of balance. So when it gets stuck, it can be this emotion, unexpressed emotions will show up, anger, frustration, or, either blowing our top or, yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. Yep, fine. Everything okay? Yep, fine. We're not fine. We're not fine at all. So when we push it down, too much stress will also have this as well. And so it just over time, the chi isn't moving slowly. So it stagnates and turns into this blockage. So if it can also build up heat. So if you have a car and you're stuck in traffic, or you're pressing the gas and the brake at the same time, that's stuck and the wheels are turning, but not moving, it will build up heat. And over time, that can build up heat in the system and congeal fluids, we'd say. There's so much to Chinese medicine, and realize this is 5,000 years in like a minute and a half I'm trying to tell you here. So just see if any of this resonates. And if you want to dive deeper, you can reach out to me, or there's lots of great information out there and great practitioners everywhere. So signs, as I mentioned, irritability, frustration, headaches that particularly come up from that occipital area, wrap around the sides of the head, sometimes throbbing headaches, red eyes, if you get a bitter taste in your mouth, PMSy, tension in your sides, if you're like, you're that person who's sighing all the time, if you're feeling congested or sharp sensations in your chest, obviously this is a more advanced state, that can be part of this blood stuck energy. If you get purple on your tongue or on your lips, that can be a sign that there's this stasis or stagnation in the body. So you want to do a lot of the foods that, we talked about, but things like lemon, lime, citrus peels are really helpful. Dandelion greens, a lot of those fresh greens are going to help move that liver system and calm things down. Mung bean would be a great one for this if you're talking about the legumes. Celery, radish, those ones can really help to move things. And you're going to want to avoid, really, really important for all of them, but for sure this one, alcohol, greasy food, any kind of processed food, and too much red meat. This can make this worse. There's lots of Chinese herbs, and we do formulas for this as well. If you want to do some essential oils like a grapefruit or something is really helpful for this. Marjoram, Butanzi, look at all my oils with that, the liver qi. There's lots of stuff I put on there if you want to play around with those. So then the next pattern is something we call spleen qi deficiency, and with particularly damp. So I talked about that damp condition. So this is someone who's like tired, depleted, and just like feels puffy and heavy and maybe foggy headed. You get fatigued, particularly after you eat, heaviness in your limbs, you get bloating, poor appetite, and just maybe you're not digesting well, things are going right through you. So looser bowels, you might just put on weight, and even though you might not be eating much or operating the way you normally would, but this weight just comes on. If you have a pale tongue, you might get teeth marks on your tongue or a sticky white coating. I have a video, I'll put it in there. I'm going to make a note so I don't forget. I'll link on how to understand what your tongue is showing you. Then you can dive into that one. So this one, you're going to want to do a lot more cooked foods, warm, like the cooked oats will be really helpful. Ginger, fennel, warming things to help support your digestive system. Some of those root vegetables, squashes, sweet potatoes, they're going to be really helpful. Adzuki beans would be your legume of choice for this one. And you're really going to want to avoid cold foods, raw foods, dairy products. Anything sticky, sweet things like sugar are going to make this pattern worse as well. And then over time, if someone's been sort of burning the candle at both ends or not absorbing food, this digestive system is weak, it can really affect what we call our kidney system. And that's like our bank account of energy. Our adrenals are associated with this. I like to call it the depleted pattern, and that can be also combined with that damp again. So this is the deeper level, and this is seen with someone who's prematurely aging, chronic stress. If you have a constitutional weakness, like you've just always struggled with your health, this can be a kidney energy. It can be your vitality is just lower. So when we are depleted, it's just, if you've ever been burned out or just exhausted, like to get up and you're on the couch, you're like, oh my God, I have to go get a glass of water. And it's so far away. Like it's just hard to do the basics. That can be a sign that this kidney energy. So often will show up with low back pain, weak knees, sore knees, fatigue, particularly in that 3 to 5 window in the afternoon. You just sleep, and in the morning you're like snooze for 100 times, can't get up, hard to get moving. You might have brain fog, really low libido. You might have ringing in your ears, more of a low grade constant. You might get cold a lot. Your tongue was probably pale, swollen, just overall weak energy. So for you, you're going to want to really prioritize rest. You're going to want to do really nutrient and mineral rich foods. Some of the seeds like black sesame seeds, walnuts, goji berries are all really helpful for rebuilding. Bone broth, if you're vegan bone broth, seaweeds, really, really helpful. Lots of slow cooked, nourishing food is going to be your friend. And beans in general are really great with seaweeds, really helpful. Avoid cold raw food. Often this pattern, you might be cold all the time, or just feel like you can't, like you're the one in socks and sweaters in the summer, or just can't seem to feel like you've got that internal fire. So just avoiding anything cold and raw. This pattern does not do well with cleansing diets. Some people are like, I'm going to do a liver cleanse, I'm going to do a juice fast or something. And that would just make everything feel worse with this pattern. So that's more of a kidney depleted one. And then the last one I'll just talk about is more, it's like a variation or the deeper version of what I call that stuck pattern, that chi stagnation. And this is more like a stasis. And this is a blockage. And this is where circulation is compromised. The blood is not moving or freely in the body. And this is where you're at a greater risk for heart attacks, strokes. The longer blockage has been around, the more there's that buildup. So this is underlying this. You're really going to want to get help, obviously, with this. And this is where clotting is a bigger risk. And so from Chinese medicine, it's like chi stagnation or that phlegm buildup, but sort of on steroids. So you're going to have a lot more pain. It's fixed stabbing pain, chest or in the flanks. You might have a purple tongue. You might, if you look under your tongue, you might have distended veins. Might be prone to spider veins or varicose veins in your body, like sort of angry ones, not that depleted ones. You might just find that your circulation's bad. Very volatile emotions, just really feeling it. Again, that purple on your lips or tongue. You might have a really hard time at nighttime. We might be restless. And you might have just a discomfort in your body. So this one, you're going to want to do all the things around the stuck, and you're going to want to get extra support with this as well. So avoiding anything that's going to be congesting, any of those fried foods. You're going to want to keep your diet pretty clean and green, lightly cooked, easy to digest. This pattern, simple foods, not a lot of heavy proteins. And you're really going to want to work on things that move the energy as well. That was a long one. So I hope that was helpful for you. There's a lot of information there. It's just a tidbit to sort of get you thinking in a slightly different way about cholesterol. Lots you can do, as you heard some things. If you have something you want to work more specifically, you can reach out to me. I work one-on-one with people, or I have group programs or things that I do with people. There are lots of great practitioners out there, but get help to understand your body. The more you understand it and take small actions every day, the better you're going to feel. And over time, the better everything is going to go. So lots of things you can do. Hope that's helpful. If you want more tips like this, subscribe. I'm always doing little things to help you put the healthcare back in your back pocket and understand your body in this holistic lens. And I do take requests. This was actually a request from someone. So Thanks for being here. I will see you next time.